So welcome to the show. And you're in charge of digital for CNN and for Asia as well. So could you just tell us about how digital shaped the media industry nowadays?
Well, if you look at the past 10-15 years, you'd see that there's been a very huge shift from traditional media to digital. And over the past few years, that shift has kind of gathered pace. And what you're seeing now is that digital platforms are not like what they used to be 15-20 years ago, where you have a company website and people go to their website. But nowadays, when you talk about digital, you're talking about every media company being on many different sites, social media platforms, social messaging platforms, their own website, and other things. And they are giving information and content to users on these multiple distributed platforms. And this digital shift has changed the way media companies are looking at traditional media as well. Because let's say for TV companies realize that not many or not as many people tuning in or having that traditional tune into TV channel behavior. And that has made media companies, TV companies, broadcasters, newspapers, all of them change the way they think about content and the way they think about platforms.
So you talk about CNN. What are the strategy for CNN on digital media platform?
So if you look at CNN, right, one of our slogans or one of our catchphrases is "Go there." Previously, what this meant was that CNN goes to where the story is. If a story is happening in Thailand, we come to Thailand. If a story is happening, let's say, in Myanmar or Tokyo or Lagos, Nigeria, we go there. But in the digital media world now, go there has also taken on another meaning, which is to go to where the users are. And by that, we mean that the users may be on CNN's website, but they could also be on Facebook, they could be on Snapchat, they could be on Line or WhatsApp.
Right.
And we go to where the users are. We have content for these different platforms, and the content is created specifically with those platforms in mind. And that's one of the big things that CNN has changed over the past few years, in the sense that we are no longer looking at ourselves as a TV company, but we're a multi-platform media company.
With your observation, what are the differences between digital media consumption in Asia and in America?
Well, that's a very good question, right? Because if you look at America, America is one country united almost entirely with one language. But if you look at Asia, Asia is this amazing, wonderful collection of so many different countries, cultures, languages. And with that comes different user behaviors. So if you look at Asia compared to America, Line is a huge social messaging platform in Asia. It's not as big in the US. If you look at Kik, for example, it's very big in the US, but not so big in Asia. So what we are doing is we are trying to look at what are the big things that people are doing in Asia, what are the things that are popular among our users in Asia, and we are creating content based on that. So we do Q&As online, for example. We kind of crowdsource content from WhatsApp. We are very aggressive on Facebook, on Instagram in Asia. But at the same time, that being said, there's also the other thing about the stories themselves. In the US right now, the huge story is the presidency and all the things that are coming with that. And there's huge interest for that in Asia as well. But in Asia, there are other things that are going on that people also care about. People care about what's happening in China. People care about what's happening with the Rohingyas in Myanmar. There are massive travel stories here. There are things coming up like in Malaysia, the elections are going to be held in the next 1 year. In Singapore, you've had the big issue of the Prime Minister and his family and his late father's house. So there are all these stories happening in Asia that Asian audiences especially care about a lot. And we look to go there and to be where the story is as well as where the audience is.
And so what would be your recommendations to the media industry here?
Well, I would say you have to move fast. You have to adapt to your users, and you have to think about it as users first. This is no longer the era where people need to come to us for information, but rather we need to go to them. So we need to remember that that entire relationship has changed, and the user is the customer, which is not necessarily a way that the media looked at it in the past.
All right. Thank you so much, Marc, for your interview with us today.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.